And welcome everybody inside Toyota Stadium to the Dallas Cup 2024 Boys U19 Final featuring El Paso Locomotive FC versus the Dallas Texans U19 Boys Academy ECNL side. Two academy teams. EP, also known as El Paso Locomotive FC, is the USL Academy team. And Steve, in this, the second highest group in the boys division, the U19s, as far as age goes, only the super group is higher as this prestigious tournament is starting to wind down, but we still have two more matches to go, including this one. And we take a look at the Dallas Texans starting 11. They'll wear red today. Looks like they are playing out of a 4-4-2 with a diamond midfield. If the tactical sheet that we received is true to fruition with Coach Jonathan Palmer at the helm.
And one of the things we've talked about as we've done a couple of other finals today is how the rain early in the week sort of compressed the schedule. So as you watch these teams today, note that they'll be playing their sixth game in 6 days.
Fun one here is that we have a tactical difference between the clubs. El Paso Locomotive looks like they're going to be lining up in a 3-5-2. So if we receive good information, and our boy Evan always seems to come through for us, 3 at the back, 5 through the middle with 1 attacking midfielder, 2 holding, and a couple of, you could argue, wing midfielder, wing backs, and 2 up front. We saw in the last match of our U18 boys final that the 2 differences led to a really interesting chess match. But as we take a look now at the referees, Karen Hernandez from Mexico will be in charge with Jose De Silva and Jennifer Garner of the United States as the assistant referees. 4th official is Lucas Fondrix from Switzerland. We saw him do one of the Supergroup semifinals on Friday. And then our VAR, who was in charge of an earlier match today of the final, Odette Hamilton from Jamaica. And she's joined in the VAR booth by Jasset Kerr-Wilson, also of Jamaica.
Yeah, so you talk about the tactical differences. So really what happens is different space opens up in different places. 3-5-2, you're going to be able to take advantage out in the wide areas if you get those wing backs into the action. On the other hand, it looks like maybe a diamond midfield, 4-4-2 for the Texans. And that means you might be able to outnumber the opposition in the central areas. But again, it's not just the numbers. It's about taking advantage of those numbers and taking advantage of the spaces.
It'll be interesting. We'll see how it plays out. But if they outnumber the middle of the diamond, but then leave open spaces wide where they have wing backs, then it could be a yin and yang. And maybe who, as we saw in the last one, both teams in that 18 final showed moments where they could hurt the other team. But even though they tactically could do it, if they don't physically execute, then it's all a moot point.
100%. It still comes down to players. Still comes down to individuals and talent. And as I said, executing in those spaces. So you would obviously call the Texans the home team today. This is, of course, the home of FC Dallas here at Toyota Stadium, but Dallas Texans, a long-serving club in the DFW area. El Paso Locomotive with their USL Championship side. This is their U19s as we get underway with the first half of this boys U19 final.
Here are the starting lineups for today's match. First, for Dallas Texans, the captains, number 22, Duncan Sullivan, and number 2, Aiden Ussery. In goal, number 0, Morgan English. Number 4, Ben Baldwin. Number 7,
And get our first look at the team formations here. Overloaded a bit on the side because of the throw-in. Ivan Escobedo with the first throw up the near left side. Juan Monreal with a touch for the Texans. Villa Gomez. Pepe. His name is Jose Luis Villa Gomez. They call him Pepe. In fact, a bunch of their midfielders have nicknames. We have Pepe, Chapo, Pancho, and Gordo across the midfield for Locomotive. Here's Aiden Ossery, playing the right back for the Texans today. Gabriel Sasso, the defensive midfielder of this diamond formation. Villagomez switches it. That's Daniel Gordo Valenzuela. Kenneth Hoban, the right of the back three. And it goes out for an early throw as the two teams have yet to really settle into the game. That's Finley O'Brien, who's the middle of the back three. Up it goes towards one of the two forward players for Locomotive, Axel Valdivia. He's wearing the number 9. Next to him, Ruben Esparza, the 10. Be interesting how they play off each other.
So you can see immediately what El Paso was trying to do here is possess the ball, establish possession one side. They leave the wing back well wide on the other side, looking for that switch where they can get them isolated against the defender.
Alex San Martin. Might be San Martin. Plays it back to his goalkeeper, Morgan English. Right up the gut. Sasso. Sent forward once again by Villagomez. San Martin switches. That's Ben Baldwin, his center back pairing and partner. Now Garrett Wilkins on the left side for the Texans. Back through the middle to Sasso. Brings it down, knocks it forward, a turn. Lucas Sikala and Weston Cantrell. Sikala. Knocked back by Villagomez as Locomotive try to settle things in.
So you can see how the Texans are defending here. It is a diamond midfield. Gabriel Sasso is going to sit deepest, protecting that back line. It'll be Hatley and Sullivan on either side of him. Monreal playing a little higher, although I have noticed a little bit of interchange between those, but that's at least their starting positions.
There's Duncan Sullivan, number 22 with it. Back to Sasso. And a foul called and a yellow card in the 5th minute. The first foul as the referee, Karen Hernandez, not putting up with anything of that kind of physicality in the early going. As the first action really of this match is a booking. And it belongs to Duncan Sullivan.
Yeah, 5th minute. It's pretty early for a yellow card, but this is an experienced referee, Karen Hernandez out of Mexico. She was refereeing in the CONCACAF Women's Gold Cup just earlier this year.
Do you have VAR for this match? She's speaking in the headset quickly. I wonder if they did a quick VAR check to see if that might have been violent conduct, but as she still touches her ear, it looks like we're going to just be okay with a yellow card, but they would have checked for a red.
Well, they check everything. So when we talk about check, they're looking into everything. But, yeah, you're right. What they'll do is go back and take a couple of quick looks at it. And if they want to, then they would issue a formal review. It would go on down to the field.
The big difference, though, is that sometimes if they check things, they might just do it and not necessarily say anything to the center referee if it's just a cursory glance. But when you see the referee go to the earpiece, you know that there's at least a conversation being had.
Yeah, they're
even at just a delay.
Yeah, they're just telling you, hey, let's give us a second to look at it.
There's a quick overlap. Running down the left side. Valdivia. His ball. Not a bad effort. A little too far ahead of Esparza. And a pretty easy claim in the end for Morgan English. But nice to see those two playing off each other early because a two-man game can cause problems for a back four if they make the right runs.
Well, especially when it involves a wing back, which means you're adding somebody against the outside back.
Down the right side comes Ossery. And through the middle. And Sikala came back to get a touch on it, but lost possession. Smashed up the field. That's going to go out for a throw. It's always interesting to see in the modern game where the attackers take up their positions, because sometimes you'll see players have the positional discipline to stay in those attacking spots, but many, many times these days you see players that want to get involved in the build, get involved and get touches, and not just wait for that service in the box or in the top of the formation.
Yeah, and a lot of that depends tactically how you're playing, personality of the player. You know, we saw a game earlier today where one team was very interested in keeping one striker way up high and pretty much unwavering in that. And you're right, there are plenty of strikers who do want to drop in a little bit more.
We saw one where the striker was almost a complete non-striker, running around. I called him a false nine, but he was really playing on both wings, back through the midfield, even lined up in the six for a couple. It was just a free-floating player. Again, not a criticism, just an observation. It could very well be a tactical choice to say, hey, you're going to just go wherever the game calls for it, or you find it. Ball through to Villagomez. And then Escobedo plays it up to midfield. And that's where they've been looking for Valdivia. He's able to win the ball. Little touch from Raul Vasquez. They call him Chapo. Or he goes by Chapo. Little flick by Juan Monreal. Sullivan, who went into the referee's book in the first 5 minutes, which was the first notable action of today's match. It's the third of 4 finals here in the boys' divisions, the 19s. We have the Super Group next, which is also the same age group, but the tippy top of the Dallas Cup prestige pyramid.
Yeah, the elite level. And most of those guys are, in the case of the forward clubs, have either already signed pro contracts or are very close to signing professional contracts. American clubs, most of the players are headed off to college.
Interesting. I didn't note the other night, but Fulham was a late entrant into the Dallas Cup because the team that I support heavily, Liverpool, was supposed to send their academy team, and a pile of first-team injuries to the EPL side, including a pretty wild cup final, saw all the players that we would have seen in Dallas Cup playing and not just dressing, but actually getting into that match. Jayden Danns scored a couple of goals for Liverpool. I'm not going to bore everybody with all my love of the Reds, but those are the players that are literally, as Steve mentioned, either already under pro contract or on the verge of being in the senior club, especially for the international teams. Well, we will have a fun one in our next match between Sao Paulo and FC Dallas, their academy team, the U19s. Here's the ball across, and just getting through it was a good, the flag went up for an offside. Boy, that was a moment for the Texans. Really good cross down this right side from Mason Hatley. And almost, was it Sikala that was trying to get his foot in there?
No, I thought it was I thought it was Ussery that got forward from his right back spot there.
Was he the overlap from Hatley then?
I believe so. Got that cross in, put it into a dangerous area.
Now, Locomotive on the ball, but they've had success not necessarily building out of the back, but bypassing lines and getting target control from either Valdivia or Esparza. Now a ball in, looking for Sikala, just a little too far, and the goalkeeper Santiago Vargas able to control with his feet.
Yeah, it was Juan Monreal with the entry ball there. That good angle, good idea. I think he just overcooked it a little bit and Sakala just couldn't find his feet there, couldn't control the ball.
There's a giveaway right to the feet of Hatley. Sullivan, what a save! First time effort from Duncan Sullivan from about 22 yards out. Ball still in play, but Santiago Vargas here in the 12th minute with a very impressive stop to his left.
Yeah, bad giveaway in the back from the El Paso team there. Texans able to turn it quickly into a shot, and man, that shot had a lot of sting on it. Nice save from Locomotive goalkeeper Vargas. Get a look at that one again. Santiago Vargas really having to, well, just sort of missed that one, but you can trust me, it was a quality save as he pushed off to his left.
Up toward midfield. Esparza running after it, but he couldn't win the battle to hold up. They'll go all the way back to Morgan English in the goal for the Texans. Out to Ussery. Ooh, sliding challenge there by Vasquez. Ussery got away from it, but couldn't get past the pressure from Villagomez.
Getting close to a quarter hour in this one, and sort of a low tempo to it, low event match so far. Sullivan involved in really the only two notable moments, the shot that we just saw, a stinging shot, and then the really early 5th-minute yellow card that he picked up.
And he's the only one I've written down on my thing other than Vargas' name for the save on my notes. But he's been notable so far, the Dallas Texans number 22. Sasso.
Yeah, one of the
Hatley.
Wide midfielders in the diamond they play in there.
Out to the right. Sakala getting wide. Stepped into. And taken away by Escobedo. He makes a long run forward. Sakala chasing back. Foul given. It's a advantage played by the referee, Hernandez. Out to the right. Good defending there as El Paso couldn't take advantage of that. Lost the ball. And Sullivan. Boy, so far, Texans have really liked to go to this right-hand side. Ussery. Monreal coming in. Now Sullivan. They haven't worked the left side that much yet. Although, of course, on cue, they're going to go that way. Wilkins with Baldwin. All the way back to English. Pressure coming. English takes a touch. Always scare a coach when you do that. And then played by Ussery forward. Sakala, nice bit of skill. Pops it up against Vasquez. Now turns, double teamed, and loses the ball to Vasquez. Gets it back briefly. Ooh, a crunching challenge in from Duarte. But Texans get it forward. Cantrell, cross toward the back post. A late run, header down, blocked. As Hoban got in the way of that one. That was Mason Hatley, the late arriving player on the scene. Now Sullivan. Out in that zone 14. Ussery cuts back to his right foot. The cross comes in. Goalkeeper came out and Vargas claimed it well. We read that all the way off the foot of Aiden Ussery's cross.
Yeah, but second time we've seen Ussery get up that right side out of his right back spot and provide a pretty useful cross. The first one driven in low. That one aimed a little higher at the back post. But both of them indicating some level of threat.
Now El Paso working it around their back three. It's interesting how wide the back three gets as they try to build out.
But they get wide, sort of offset.
Yeah, it's not a balance at all, is it?
Yeah, it's clearly a build-out pattern they've worked on. And again, I think it's about that. I think it's about getting Pepe Villagomez isolated on the left side.
Valdivia into the middle, a little bit of a flat ball, but Estrada got there. Actually did a nice job, Alex Estrada, of still keeping possession and shaking off the contact of the defensive pressure. He gets it forward. That's Valenzuela. He'll play it back. This is better from El Paso. Oh, but then Duarte with a soft touch didn't get enough on it, and a chance for a counter. And that one wasn't quite enough. And Vargas just forced to smash that one over to the near side. Texans get the ball for a throw. Ossery blocked. He'll get another throw here. As Steve mentioned, these teams have played a lot, and just like our U18s, because of the weather earlier at the beginning of a week ago when the tournament opened, they had to play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and now Sunday. I'm sure they're thrilled to be here, but that's a lot of games, even for these high-level youth clubs that train a lot and play in a lot of matches, league play and tournaments. Playing in 6 straight days is definitely something that nobody's prepared for.
It's a heavy lift for sure. You will say, look at the Texans, conceded only 1 time in 5 matches. How about that?
Well, so far they haven't been tested really in the attacking third, their defensive third.
Yeah, Morgan English, the goalkeeper for the Texans, having to come out and claim that 1 ball off the turf.
I'm sure you've noticed it with this diamond formation. Not only do they pressure once the ball comes out wide to either side of that diamond, but both of the outside backs come in and add another player with that right or left-sided midfielder to give support defensively. It seems like they really close down that space on the flanks.
So the question is, can you do that consistently all game? Because that takes a lot of running, a lot of covering ground.
On the flip side, it's almost as if they're asking you to try to play through the middle of their diamond. There's a pocket of space there if you can find it, but maybe that's just a trap. And so far, El Paso's been either trying to go around or over the top. They haven't really tried to go through. On the other side, they had a wild affair in their opener against BVB ECNL. That's one of the affiliates, the not the direct affiliate, but one that you can buy in for use of the licensing of the club name. 4-4 on Tuesday. But then after conceding 4 in that first game, Locomotive have only given up 1 goal in the 4 matches since. And they scored 9. So I have to say, goal scoring hasn't been their issue, but that first game was where they gave up the most. Dallas Hornets did get 1 against them in the semifinal on yesterday. Speaking of goal scoring, here's an opportunity down the right side. Valenzuela crosses. It drops via Gomez. Lines it up. Blocked. Good step-up play there by Ussery.
Yeah, that whole thing created by a really nice run up the right side by Gordo Valenzuela. Ends up in the first real attempted goal for Locomotive.
It's going to be a corner kick. Be the first one of the match for El Paso. Vasquez sends it in. Back post run. It was on. Holbon couldn't get to the end of it. It'll go out. It's going to be a throw.
Texans marking there, as most teams do on corner kicks now, picking out a couple of dangerous threats, marking them individually, that everybody else is in a zone.
Interesting to see the high press going into effect here from a deep throw as the Locomotive get everybody in position. They wanted to try to win that back quickly, and they did. Via Gomez draws it back as they bring the Texans out. Long diagonal ball. I can understand where they're trying to do there is draw out the defense and then hit right over the top, but that ball has to be better.
No, specifically they're trying to draw the defense to the El Paso wants to go right and then come back over to the other side. Again, it's all about getting Pepe Villagomez isolated over there against the defender. haven't really been able to do that with effect just yet. You could even hear the coach in that case. As the ball drifted right, he's yelling, Pepe, Pepe. He wants him to switch, make that big switching ball over there to the left side.
Sullivan wins it back after almost losing it in a battle with Estrada. Here we go to Hatley. Hatley's double teamed. Almost gets out of it, but Villagomez is too much for him there. He tries to play an early ball in. It bounces, takes a tough hop over Monreal. Brought down, or by Esparza, excuse me. Brought down by Valdivia. Back to Villagomez. And then defended well. Texans seem to get back into their defensive shape pretty quickly, don't they?
Well, a lot of defense is about commitment, getting back into position quickly once you've lost the ball, and so far they've done it pretty well.
Villagomez. We said his name quite a bit, as he's been on the ball a fair amount from this left side of the locomotive attack. Back to Escobedo, and he'll go all the way back to Vargas. So a low event, but lots of midfield battles. Duncan Sullivan was yellow carded in the 5th minute for a hard tackle, and then nearly scored in the 12th minute from about 22 yards out on a first-time shot that elicited a very strong save diving to his left by Santiago Vargas. And that is your match recap through 23 minutes. There's been a few attempts blocked or wide, but nothing even really of merit. Down the right side comes Valenzuela. Duarte, he's hitting. The idea was there, 2 guys in the box. They had targets, but the execution wasn't. The interesting thing about playing with 2 in the front as opposed to a target man with wingers or so is that when you do get the ball wide, you have more than one option on a cross. So that gives something for the defense to think about as opposed to just one target guy. But it also requires better execution. Alex San Martin goes back to his goalkeeper. English forced onto his left. Clears. Only as far as Vasquez. His ball right up the middle. And this time English is able to gobble that one up before Valdivia.
Yeah, English with a not the best pass out of the back. And I like the way EP Locomotive was trying to turn that into instant offense. English immediately putting his hand up, recognizing, acknowledging his mistake.
Just scanning the Dallas Texans roster real quickly for a familiar last name because we know a couple that have been involved with the Texans, not on this particular roster. But this is a pretty high-level club in DFW.
It has been for a long time.
Bunch of players that we called, Steve, in 2021 in the U16 final are playing in this one today for the Texans. And they, 2021, I think, was the first time I joined you for the Dallas Cup because it was coming out of the year where they missed because of the COVID-19 lockdown in 2020. Charging forward, down the left wing, Texans. That's Monreal. Cantrell couldn't get a step around Hoban. And they'll pass out of that with numbers. Texas really didn't get a lot of guys forward there. They had their 2 front men plus Monreal, but everybody else playing a little deeper. And we've seen this so far in the finals today, that attrition of playing 6 days in a row. We're at the 26th minute, 27th now. And you just wonder how much gas is in the tank for these players, playing way more than they have ever done in the span of a week.
Oh, going back to something you said a while ago, if you look at the 2 front runners for the Texans, is you watch them right here. They want to press from the outside. They want, as you said, they want El Paso to go through, try to go through the middle, not around the wings.
They're literally funneling them to the diamond, aren't they?
Yep.
Good turn on the far side. It's Gordo Valenzuela, but dispossessed. Nice composure there by Alex San Martin, but almost gave it away. Sometimes those square balls can be a little flat. I know by definition that's what square means, but if you're going to hit it that way, it's got to be pinged, because otherwise a defender that reads it right can step in the way, and off he goes. That one goes off of a foot. No, it does not. It's going to be a throw for EP Locomotive. Long throw. Good defensive play by Finley O'Brien. We haven't had to say his name too much. On the center of their, or excuse me, that was Ben Baldwin. I'm looking at the wrong four. The left center back for the Texans. San Martin out to the right to Ussery. Sullivan. Know what he was trying to do. He was trying to pick out Gabriel Sasso. It was not the right pass. Immediately picked off.
Yeah, I like Sullivan. I like the way he moves in there. I like the way he wants the ball. He's always involved. Quick into the tackle, quick on the counter press when it's called upon. In that case, he just got a little sloppy with the pass.
We've seen sometimes where games can, even at this very high level, can devolve into an athletic contest, but not so far. I mean, these two teams are trying to play a very rigid structure in their tactics, but it almost seems like they're canceling each other out over the last 10 or 15 minutes.
Oh, you're right. The entire game is in the midfield or with El Paso trying to build out.
And once again, a deflection doesn't fall right there. And in the end, Morgan English hasn't had a whole lot to do yet, other than maybe being under duress for a clear.
Neither goalkeeper really. On the other side, Santiago Vargas hasn't had much to deal with. Ussery getting up the right side a couple of times to supply crosses, but
Vargas really, with that one save, which was a great one, but that, I mean, other than that, nothing else. I don't want to take anything away from him. That was a very, very good save. But you're right. It's now 29 minutes in.
Yep.
And maybe one punch on a cross, maybe. It was a pretty easy claim. Well, you know these teams want to win this. They've done all the hard work to get here.
Yeah, but all that hard work comes at a cost, doesn't it?
It really does.
And physical cost. Mental, too.
Well, give and go, Mamariel, Hatley. Taken away, Estrada.
So now you're a little worn out from the week. You're playing in a final inside a professional stadium. You know, it's no wonder that some of these games can be a little low event this way. You know, you're just cautious. You don't want to make the mistake.
Good sliding challenge there by Kenneth Hoban. So far, any questions being asked from either side have been answered by the back lines. Long ball forward. Escobedo. Valenzuela played it to Duarte. Vasquez. All the way back to Escobedo on this near side.
El Paso really trying to draw the Texans out, and Texans just not falling for it, just content to sit back.
Quick turn. Valdivia cut back. A momentary breakdown, but not enough to hurt the Dallas Texans defense. Flicked away. Oh, there was a little bit of a collision there as Finley O'Brien got rolled, put his hands up. It's just going to be a throw-in. But you're right, the tactical discipline that it's taking these teams, especially to not fall for that and to stay in that shape and not get drawn out. Pretty well-drilled side, it looks like. Sullivan turns, switches it out to the left Wilkins. Hatley back through the middle. San Martin with Baldwin. They're not forcing things here. Very patient. Trying to see what's going to open up. We can see Ussery on this near right side is open, but it's a long way to get there. And El Paso's keeping an eye on that. That's not an unmarked pass. Just don't have to be touch tight when you're 70 yards away from the ball. Long one now by Baldwin. Up towards the top of the line. Cantrell could not get on the end of that. O'Brien looking very comfortable with Escobedo. Finds O'Brien. Hoban. Valenzuela. Good step on the defensive effort from Baldwin for the Texans. And they'll play it all the way back as we've played over 32 minutes now. I have the Texans as the one quality chance, and it was a good one. Sullivan, first-time shot from 22 yards out, forced a really good save by Vargas. What do you have for shots attempts for both teams?
2-1, Texans.
There you have it. So it's been a defensive possession midfield battle, a struggle so far.
One corner kick, that went to Locomotive.
Sometimes when you get in a game like this where it is sort of nullifying because of the tactics and the two teams being so well structured, you go, this is the kind of match that needs a goal just to open things up a little bit. Maybe force teams out of their base shape and take a risk. Because right now, neither wants to overdo it at risking giving up something the other way.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's anything about shape. It's really more about, how much are you willing to commit numbers forward? How aggressive do you want to be in playing balls forward, as opposed to just taking the safe passes?
For the most part, both teams have been within themselves a relatively conservative approach. But a chance here on a ball one. Can they get forward? Estrada out to the right. Now back through the middle. Duarte. Pancho. Back to Escobedo. Boy, there was a moment there on the turnover where if they played quickly with some urgency, they might have caught the Texans with numbers caught up the field. But again, they wanted to keep possession, and that allowed Dallas to get their numbers behind the ball. And we've seen that happen on the other end with El Paso doing the same thing. Villagomez into the corner, crosses, a good one, dangerously through, not dealt with initially. Second effort, Wilkins. And a whistle will bail out the Texans. But that was a pretty good ball from a tight angle from Villagomez.
No, it was a really good ball. And on the back post, Wilkins sort of fell asleep a little bit, surprised as the ball landed at his feet, got all the way through there, almost knocked it right back into a bad place. But you can see as far as anything dynamic in the attack, it looks to me like Pepe Villagomez is really the best option that Locomotive has.
Out for a throw as Weston Cantrell was trying to maybe turn one in and gain some possession there. It went off of his foot. Long throw. Fell kindly. Valdivia. Esparza back to Valdivia in the corner. A couple of good touches. But in the end, he took himself well wide. Now a ball in toward the back post run. That was Valenzuela on the end of that. Couldn't quite get it from Vasquez, but those have now two or three that have looked dangerous. Now back in. Vasquez got the header on it over Ussery, and it will be, I guess, a shot attempt for El Paso here in the 36th minute.
Well, just in the last couple of minutes, we've seen the El Paso offense come alive just a little bit as they're finding space up the wing now. And that's, part of what that, when you have wingbacks, that's part of the deal. You have to have enough possession so that you can push your wingbacks up a little higher. Of course, I haven't really seen the wingbacks that interested in getting up that high, but now they do a couple of times, and they do supply a couple of semi-dangerous crosses.
I have noticed that the two attacking players, the front two for the Texans, Lucas Sakala and Weston Cantrell, have swapped places. You'll see that from wingers from time to time in a 4-3-3, but even in this two-man front line, just to give a different look for the defenders. Well, Sakala has found a nice pocket of space and switches it out wide to right. Aiden Ussery, Sullivan. Ussery again. Takes the space that Sullivan vacated. On his left, poke through a leg. Almost fell for Sakala. That was better from the Texans. Sasso heads it forward, and there's a collision and a free kick. And these are the moments in a game that's been so bogged down in the midfield where an attacking free kick can suddenly lead to something.
Well, not only that, but just in the last 3, 4, 5 minutes, what you see is after half an hour, you know, it becomes a little more difficult to keep that rigid defensive structure because you're moving as a unit, you're moving a lot, you're working. They have played a lot of soccer this week. You know, it only takes one guy to get a little tired, leave a gap, and now the things start breaking down because everybody's rotating over, covering different spaces, and I think that's what you're starting to see now.
And in a game with chances few and far between, this is one of those moments that if you can find a connection or execution, maybe a little trickery, it can be the difference in the match. Sullivan and Monreal standing over this free kick. About 29 yards out, almost dead center, a little to the right. Sullivan takes the shot, deflected off the wall. It goes wide. Vasquez cannot get to it. It will be a corner for the Texans, which is their first of this final.
Monreal over to take this one.
Cross comes in. Boy, the Locomotive side had 3 defenders on the end of that one. They were not going to lose that aerial battle. That was impressive defending. The commitment there, it headed away. They did not let Cantrell get anywhere near winning that header.
I don't know how tall Cantrell is, but he looks like a big kid from here.
Very solid. Looks like he's powerful, doesn't he?
Yeah. That's him right there.
Definitely has some upper body strength to go along with his frame. He'll take the throw. Heaving it into the box, headed away. A little bit of sunshine creeping through for the first time this well, I guess it is technically the afternoon. Cloudy and overcast this morning. And this is the first time we've seen even a hazy sun.
And you know, for players pretty worn out from the week and already a slow-paced game, it's not going to help.
Any little rise in temperature is going to sap that energy just a bit more, isn't it?
I even see a couple of players out there wearing long sleeves, and you sort of wonder if those might disappear at halftime.
Sullivan. Great battle with Valdivia. Oh, what a spin by Sullivan. And then a foul. Cantrell got hip checked there.
Yeah, he did, but you're right. That's all about Sullivan and just his desire to fight and keep that ball, keep it alive over on the right side.
You can see he's almost the heart of this engine, isn't he?
He absolutely is.
All right, this is going to be Monreal's to take the free kick way out here, 45, 50 yards away. Long diagonal free kick, but a chance to win something in the air. He curls it into the box. Sullivan, the header, just wide. Once again, we talk about Duncan Sullivan, and he's involved with the attack for the Texans here. He's pretty much done everything that's been dangerous in the first half.
Yeah, his early shot that forced the good save from Vargas, and then that one just missing at the near post.
Texans, or excuse me, El Paso went quickly. There's some space out there, but again, both teams pretty determined to get their defenders behind the ball. As we are inside the final 5 minutes of the first half, we will probably not have a ton of stoppage time because so far, other than a yellow card, there really hasn't been any delays. Cantrell down the right, couldn't connect with Ussery. Sasso plays it back. Baldwin. Wilkins out on the left. Pressured by Estrada. The Texans get it back as Hatley will just knock it back to a center back duo. Baldwin. San Martin. Ussery. And he just got that one wrong, and he knows he could have done better. He's trying to thread the needle down the line and just put it out of play. Of course, as frustrating as that can be for an outside back, that's a better place to give the ball away than about 50 yards closer to his own goal. Flick head. Valdivia got it forward, but Esparza couldn't get there first. Sullivan, nice first touch. Ussery, heavy first touch for him. Got it back to Sullivan, and they pass out of it and a chance to move forward. Nobody really over there. Had to wait for Wilkins to step up at left back because the left side of that diamond midfield, Hatley had come over, but here he is now running down toward the corner against Valenzuela. Wilkins, first time ball, served in, cleared away by Vasquez. Sullivan, forward. Another heavy touch from Sakala. Forced him to have to try to recover. He did well to do that, but a cleaner first touch might have allowed him to either hold up or turn. Sasso. Good switch. Baldwin and San Martin have switched sides, the center back duo for the moment. I don't know if that's intended or if just the game called for that. Here's Sakala. Sullivan to the right. His cross, dangerous, into the box, headed away. Hoban did well. Long shot. Attempt was blocked. Another one. Sasso lines up, and he just puts it wide of the far left post. That had the upper 90 written all over it. Vargas may have had it covered, but that was dangerous here in the 44th minute.
Yeah, and again, you know, I know he doesn't have the shot over that play because what happens is Sullivan drifts wide right and he pulls a couple of defenders out of there, so Lucas Sakala is able to just drop right in the pocket, receive a ball, turn, and get that whole sequence started.
Sasso hit that almost without any spin on it. The ball knuckled just a little bit to the left, and that took it off frame, but boy, that was a very clean strike. Now another chance for the Texans to break forward. They seem to be having a little bit of life here in the final couple of minutes of normal time.
Yeah, just right here at the end of the first half of this under-19 final, it looks like the field's starting to tilt a little bit the Texans' way. Otherwise, it's been right in the middle, right, mostly literally right in the midfield.
Very much so. But a good turn. Valdivia has had his moments where he's looked lively. Also, there's been moments where he's been isolated and hasn't really had as much support as he needed. As we expected, very little stoppage time, just 1 minute. We are into that now. One thing that we don't see here at Dallas Cup that we do see now in Major League Soccer is that the stadium clock will continue to count up past the 45 minutes. Which is an addition of the rule changes this year in MLS I really like. I think it's good for the fans to see where it's at.
It just seems to make sense, doesn't it?
It does. There's a lot of questions for the match referee of how much time is left.
And there's really no downside to it.
Escobedo back to O'Brien. Nice turn by Duarte after a tough ball in. And that's it. Whistle blows at the end of the first half. Karen Hernandez stopped play after 45 minutes. And Steve, for the most part, it seemed like a pretty balanced move. We'll talk about it later in the halftime After 45 minutes, El Paso Locomotive and Dallas Texans 0-0 here in the U19 final.
How can you describe Whataburger's honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich? The chicken just has a certain... And then there's the sauce that just gives you a little bit of... And the cheese? It's the exact right amount of... It's almost too hard to put it into... Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. The honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich at Whataburger. Just like you like it. She said she wasn't hungry. She only wanted a bite. But this isn't just a patty melt. This is a Whataburger patty melt. The all-time favorite. With 2 all-beef patties, Monterey Jack, grilled onions, and creamy pepper sauce. So 1 bite became 2. And 2 became... mine. Just a bite, huh? Mark that one down as a lesson learned. The Whataburger patty melt. Just like you like it.
Can Billy come out to play?
Yes! Woohoo!
The all-new Tacoma. Toyota. Let's go places.
At CC's Pizza, dreams come true. But the best part of CC's is you. And you. And you.
Me?
Keep up, Doc. Dive right into my wondrous buffet. When it comes to pizza, you know that I slay. These desserts were made for stacking, like these games were made for whacking. Uh-oh, see ya! The reviews are in, the critics are raving. Even the super specific pregnancy craving. So come beat the band and pull up a chair. CC's, the best pizza value anywhere.
Halftime here for the U19 boys final of the 2024 Dallas Cup, which is brought to you by Coca-Cola, by the Dallas Tourism Public Improvement District, by Puma, by Toyota, and by the Dallas Sports Commission. Speaking of Dallas Cup, this is a phenomenal international youth tournament, and to give you some insights into what this competition is all about, we ask you watch this video.
welcome world to my hometown in the 2024 Dallas Cup. I'm Weston McKinney from the U.S. Men's National Team. I'm very excited to be joining the Puma family, and I'm wishing you guys all the best of luck in this tournament. Hopefully you guys form a lot of connections with many different cultures and people. And make sure you guys stop by Soccer Corner's tent to pick up the latest Dallas Cup Puma gear. See you guys.
How can you describe Whataburger's honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich? The chicken just has a certain... And then there's the sauce that just gives you a little bit of... And the cheese, it's the exact right amount of... It's almost too hard to put it into... Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. The honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich at Whataburger. Just like you like it. She said she wasn't hungry. She only wanted a bite. But this isn't just a patty melt. This is a Whataburger patty melt. The all-time favorite. With 2 all-beef patties, Monterey Jack, grilled onions, and creamy pepper sauce. So 1 bite became 2. And 2 became... mine. Just a bite, huh? Mark that one down as a lesson learned. The Whataburger patty melt. Just like you like it.
Can Billy come out to play?
Yes! Woohoo!
The all-new Tacoma. Toyota. Let's go places.
At CC's, pizza dreams come true. But the best part of CC's is you, and you, and you.
Me?
Keep up, Doc. Dive right into my wondrous buffet. When it comes to pizza, you know that I slay. These desserts were made for stacking, like these games were made for whacking. Uh-oh, see ya. The reviews are in, the critics are raving, even the super specific pregnancy craving. So come feed the band and pull up a chair. CC's, the best pizza value anywhere.
Halftime here at Toyota Stadium. The boys U19 final of the 2024 Dallas Cup is all square between El Paso Locomotive and the Dallas Texans. Owen Newkirk alongside Steve Davis. And Steve, not a ton of highlights as it was a real midfield battle, but there were a couple moments, and it seemed like Duncan Sullivan was involved with all of them for the Dallas Texans.
I don't think it seemed like it. I believe he actually was. I think the Texans are pretty comfortable right now, sort of in control in midfield, out shooting El Paso Locomotive 5-1. The offense is running through Sullivan. They've got some good interchange up front between Cantrell and Cicala. Sort of starting to cause some problems. Low event for about 30 minutes. I thought the last 15 minutes, as the defense started getting a little bit more tired, getting a little gappy, things started opening up a little bit. So we'll see how that works out in the second half.
And in those last 5 or 6 minutes, there were 3 chances of the 4 that I tracked for Dallas Texans in that first half. But just keep an eye on set pieces for both sides, because the one opportunity that was notable for El Paso came from Chapo Vasquez on a header on a cross in the box. He put it wide, but that's that moment of, other than in the run of play, that ball in might just cause a disruption. So both teams have that in their arsenal.
Yeah, El Paso Locomotive, it looks like what they want to do is establish possession right, try to draw defenders over there a little bit, get the big switch over to Pepe Villagomez on the left side. He's the left-sided wing-back in this 3-5-2. They haven't been able to do it effectively enough times, but that does look like that's where the danger is going to come from Locomotive.
Something we'll keep an eye on throughout the second half is the attrition of a long week of Dallas Cup. How will the substitutions be used? We'll find out. Second half action coming up next.
said she wasn't hungry. She only wanted a bite. But this isn't just a patty melt. This is a Whataburger patty melt, the all-time favorite, with 2 all-beef patties, Monterey Jack, grilled onions, and creamy pepper sauce. So 1 bite became 2, and 2 became mine. Just a bite, huh? Mark that one down as a lesson learned. The Whataburger patty melt, just like you like it.
Tacos.
Can Billy come out to play?
Yes! Woohoo!
The all-new Tacoma. Toyota. Let's go places.
How can you describe Whataburger's honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich? The chicken just has a certain... And then there's the sauce that just gives you a little bit of... And the cheese? It's the exact right amount of... It's almost too hard to put it into... Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. The honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich at Whataburger. Just like you like it.
And back here at the U19 boys final of the 2024 Dallas Cup at Toyota Stadium. Owen Newkirk alongside Steve Davis. There was a deadlock between El Paso Locomotive and Dallas Texans after 45 minutes of play. But as Steve and I spoke about at halftime, it did start to tilt in favor of the team clad in red. The Texans had some chances. They did have a really nice first-time strike about 22 yards out in the 12th minute from Duncan Sullivan, forcing a really strong save to his left from Santiago Vargas. After that, there was a whole lot of tactical battle, which means not much action on the goal mouths for the better part of 25 minutes.
Yeah, you say deadlock. It was definitely a deadlock that was slanted in one direction. Morgan English, Texas goalkeeper, really not having much to do at all. The other goal mouth in front of El Paso Locomotive, a little busier, not much, but definitely more of the threat was coming from the Texans.
So the second half, we did a quick cursory glance. It looks like everybody that started the game was still on the field for now. But as we've observed throughout the day's finals to this point, they've played too much soccer over the course of this week. This is a grueling 6 game in 6 days for both teams. There's no way they're going 90 minutes with the same 11. I mean, there's a very low chance of that being the case. That's Garrett Wilkins as they started up for the Texans down the left side. Monreal quickly getting forward. His curling ball into the box and headed just over the bar from Lucas Sikala. How about that for the Texans? The Texans in the first 30 seconds, they go right after it and nearly nick an opening goal.
Yeah, and I really like the early cross because we haven't seen a whole lot of that, so I think it catches Locomotive just a little bit unaware there, but good early moment from the Texans.
I was remarking as I saw number 16 of Garrett Wilkins. He was playing on the far side of the field from our vantage point in the first half, and from the broadcast booth, you really couldn't see the number that well. So just for a second, when he first got that touch, I went, 16, is that a substitution? They went, no, it's just we've only seen him from about 200 yards away.
Well, and beyond that, Owen, we haven't seen him get forward a lot. Texans pretty disciplined and keeping their outside backs locked in, but really, I don't remember.
No, I thought Ussery on the other side.
On the other side definitely broke through for a couple of crosses, but not Wilkins on the left.
Well, speaking of on the other side, we get to see a little closer vantage point of Kenneth Hoban as well, the right back of the back three. There is Ussery as he takes a touch forward. Hatley, Sullivan, nice on the turn, brings that down. Pressured by Duarte. Monreal looks, nobody there. Speaking of Hatley not getting forward, he wasn't anywhere near that. Monreal turned over his shoulder, but he had plenty of time to walk into it. Wilkins.
Boy, it sure looks like Wilkins was given the mandate to get forward, because we are exactly 2 minutes, 15 seconds into the second half, and something we didn't see him do much, if any at all, in the first half, which is drive that end line and try to get across it. He's already done it twice.
Yeah, if not the matching the first half, he's already exceeded it. Long ball forward. Esparza. Valdivia kept it in. Nice sliding challenge there by Ussery. Those are those moments, a quick turnover, that it looks like the Texans may have just a little more impetus to pounce quicker.
Also looking for quicker crosses now.
That one comes through. Sullivan on the end of it. Left it off. Long shot, Monreal. It's a shot. Didn't have much on it and went wide. But at least was a sign of intent from this Texan side early in the second half.
Texans have definitely moved their lines up now. Don't remember them pressing a lot, if at all, in the first half. Try to press that goal kick that time from Locomotive.
And already they have 2 efforts towards goal. That's half of the 4 they had in the first half. In 45 minutes, they've done in a manner of about 3.5. So we've already seen a difference here in aggressiveness from the DFW side. But El Paso Locomotive still very much in this.
Nice job a minute ago there by Axel Valdivia to work his way back into the action, win a ball for his team.
I've liked him so far as one of the 2 guys up front. He's put a lot of effort in, and he's really willing to get into those 50-50 battles. Hatley. Wilkins. I don't know if it's just because the benches are on this side, but the ball and Wilkins have seen each other a lot more so far in the second half. San Martin, tough ball, not enough pace to get out to Ussery. A quick change. Valdivia couldn't get the turn, though. And Gabriel Sasso, their defensive 6, really did well. Villa Gomez, he was a focal point down the left side for the Texans, and he wiggles his way through 2 defenders. Still going, now hits the cross. They needed a little bit different either on the height or the angle, but a good bit of running to get past 2 defenders and even deliver that ball. Referee let it go. There was a contact there between Cantrell and Escobedo.
You mentioned Sasso a minute ago. He looks to me like the kind of player that a lot of guys sort of appreciate. Maybe if you're ever watching from the stands, you don't appreciate what he does. But sitting there so dedicated to screening the back line, you know, it makes everybody else's job easier. It allows you as a midfielder, a guy like Sullivan, to a little bit more freedom to be a little bit more free and a little bit more forward thinking, because you know he's behind you to clean up messes.
Yeah, he really does. So far through 50 minutes or so, plays like a classic defensive midfielder.
Yep.
Which, in a diamond shape like the Texans are running, that's what they need. They don't need their 6 running 40, 50 yards forward and unbalancing their shape.
No, if he's out of position, then your lines are way disconnected.
So far, they've been very well structured. There's a foul on Hatley as he got into the back of Chapo Vasquez. A couple of substitutes just heading their way down to the ends to start loosening up.
And so the way it works, and one of the reasons this has been a low-event game, is that in the 3-5-2, which sometimes sort of turns into a 3-man front line for Locomotive.
Little header down. Valdivia, ooh, that was a chance, but blocked by Ussery. Smart to get into the way there because Valdivia looked like he was going to have some space. Now there is a shot. Came in from Esparza. In the end, fairly comfortable save for Morgan English, but that equals the number of attempts by El Paso in the first half. Something to build off of, perhaps.
So it's really a 3-4-3 that Locomotive is playing right now, 3-4-1-2. if you want to call it that. So what happens, though, is that line of 3 for Locomotive, once Sasso drops back to join his back 4, now it's 3 on 5, and it's just hard to get through this. So if your wing backs don't get forward enough, 3 on 5 is just nearly impossible to break through.
Yeah, you're running out against the numbers game that entire time. There's Gordo Valenzuela, who, if you see his stature, does not match his nickname. Little flick over the top by Duarte. Valenzuela. And ushered out by Wilkins. Valenzuela wanted to get a corner out of that, didn't. It'll be a goal kick for the Texans.
But we keep talking about Texans and how they've had more of the game, Phil tilted away, whatever. Right now, 0-0, you know, if it stays this way, then it's penalty kicks. And by the way, they don't go into extra time in this final. It would go straight to kicks from the spot.
Ball dropping. Little turn, Estrada. Little questions being asked now that we didn't see from either team's attack in the first half. Now starting to creep in for both teams is maybe they just try to turn up the temperature a little bit. Maybe it's the fatigue of both. Maybe just starting to see those signs of the game opening up a little bit.
But we saw that in the last 10 minutes of the first half, didn't we? So,
not surprising that we're seeing more of the same here in the second.
Yeah, and I think we'll see a little bit more open second half.
Well, from a neutral perspective, you want to see scoring chances. It makes it fun. So I think we'd all welcome that. So the ball gets played out to the left. Long ball. Sullivan tried to do a cheeky move through the middle. Didn't work out, but it actually fell to Mason Hatley. Here's Sullivan. Diagonal ball. Looking for a late run of Monreal. Hoban had to concede a corner kick. So I don't think it was exactly the ball that Sullivan wanted to hit, but it worked out in the end. I think if he brought it a little bit deeper back, then Monreal gets to that, but they did achieve the corner kick.
Yeah, but it works out because Monreal puts in the work to go pressure the defender and then make sure that he doesn't have easy time of it.
Here's the corner from the left's flag. Headed over the bar by Baldwin. It didn't look like it was a free header, but then I think he was a little surprised.
I think it turned into one.
Yeah.
I think Baldwin, maybe it did surprise him. You got it. I think it surprised him, and he ends up sort of putting his head down a little early. What we always say on those set pieces, you got to believe that ball's coming to you.
Because there wasn't that much gap between Baldwin and the El Paso defender, but it kind of just missed him and went right to Baldwin.
Yeah,
it's hard to do, though, isn't it, to have the composure, the concentration to stay with a ball that looks like it's not going to make it to you?
Yep.
Wilkins plays it through the middle. Hatley out to the far side. Aiden Ussery again. Flipped it down the wing. Cantrell. Cross. And that was behind. Will be... Oh, it took a deflection. It will be a corner kick. My mistake. I thought for a minute that was just going to be a harmless goal kick for El Paso. Instead, the Texans will have another opportunity to head forward.
I didn't see it either. I didn't see the deflection, but indeed it does turn into third corner kick today for the Texans.
Notice that as Baldwin comes forward, he's doing so walking slowly. There's not quite that urgency of, maybe it's the energy loss, but we're not seeing the sprint from midfield. Here comes the ball in, and it gets through everybody. It was there for the taking. Cantrell keeps it alive. Curling effort. Only as far as Ussery's shot goes wide left. That was a real chance for the right back. But he couldn't test Santiago Vargas in the El Paso goal. And here we are, Steve, now just about 11 minutes into the second half. And, well, we did see chances from both. It's 4-1 Texans. They, like they did at the end of the first half, starting to pile up a little bit.
Yeah, one more time we see Texans pressing the goal kick, and El Paso goes long, but Texans immediately win it back.
It's going to be a throw-in as Valenzuela read the pass, so he denied the ball in, but got a touch on it, knocked it away. I know it's hard to do as you're getting more and more tired, but it feels like both sides are being very methodical when a ball goes out of play or if there's a set piece trying to sort of recharge or summon a little bit. And you could see that with the Texans starting to get on the front foot, if they could just will themselves into a little bit more, maybe they find the breakthrough. And for El Paso, same thing. Can they pick themselves up to just kind of drive the attack away?
I think it's easy for us to say.
Isn't it?
Clearly both teams are a little tired from the week. And clearly both teams are okay with a low-tempo game.
Long throw, Cantrell headed away. So we'll have the Gordon Jago Supergroup final coming up, our final match of the day at 4:30 here at Toyota Stadium. And those two teams will at least have the benefit of yesterday's recovery day since they played Friday afternoon. Neither team was forced past the 90 minutes, although it looked for a while like the second match between Botafogo and the FC Dallas U19 Academy side was going to. But Dallas got the late goal. They got the win. And they'll face Sao Paulo, who dismantled Fulham in the first semifinal after a tight first half. They ran ragged in the second half. But lots of time to talk about that. The U19 final right now is all knotted up between El Paso Locomotive and the Dallas Texans. It looks like El Paso will make the first substitution of the match for either side. Sasso pressured, and Wilkins couldn't keep that one in. Went down a little awkwardly. He's getting up okay. Just wait and see if the referee wants that substitution now. Yes, it's going to be now. And so the first change, as we wait for the board to go up, it's going to be Alex Estrada coming out. And he'll be praised by number 19, Ramon Galvez. Or excuse me, that's the Texans. Alec Garcia is the number 19 for Locomotive. I was looking at the wrong side. So Garcia in for Estrada. And he goes into that area, the attacking midfield position where Estrada had been playing. Well, it looks like there's going to be a couple of Texans changes here in short order as well. I wonder if Wilkins came up a little, that last challenge, he looks, I don't know if he's coming out or not, but
you may be right. He just had a
looked a little wonky.
Well, he just had a quick conversation with management over there.
Ball goes back up to midfield. Esparza, who hasn't seen a lot of the ball today, trying to help get it over to Valdivia, but didn't win it. And I don't think it'll make any comfort for Ruben Esparza, but it's looking by the Dallas Texans' defensive record in this tournament. He's not the only attacking player that's been frustrated by that back four. In fact, the Texans in their ECNL league are 9-0-3. So they've not lost yet in regulation. Haven't lost. They've 9 wins and 3 draws. And there are players on this team that won the U16 division a couple years ago that have experience playing in a big final like this. And here come the changes for the Texans. And I mentioned Ramon Galvez a minute ago. Now he's going to come on. Ramon Guardado Galvez will be one of the players to enter the field, along with Ronaldo Garcia. Yep, Steve, we were right. Wilkins is out. So Garcia straight up swap for Wilkins. Here's a ball through, an advantage being played. Sikala almost got free, couldn't. And boy, the El Paso side dodges a bullet because they looked like they were out of sorts for just a minute on that restart. So the first changes for both teams, 60th minute for El Paso, 62nd minute for the Texans.
Looking to see if there's any kind of a shape change for the Texans or if it's just simple personnel swaps.
Got a foul called. The assistant referee on the near side, Jose De Silva, flagged that one. So it'll be a free kick. And like we said, it's been primarily the Texans generating chances here in the second half, but these types of free kick situations, set pieces, can be a difference maker. That's where El Paso seem to have had the better of the few opportunities they have come from these types of situations.
Yeah, El Paso Locomotive got him with 3 shots. Only 3 shots, 9 for Texans.
Vasquez the service, blocked at the top of the 18. Not the ball that they were looking for. There's Villagomez. He'll send one in. That has some height to it. Bringing it down. Esparza. He was offside. Wouldn't have counted even if he could have done something magical. And a quick throw by English out to the near side. Sikala cuts back in the middle for Sullivan. Had to step into that, but got there. And now the substitute, Galvez. Along with Garcia, who just came on. Hard pass through by Sasso. Couldn't be handled by Hatley.
Galvez has looked lively so far. Uh-oh.
And now a giveaway, bad heavy touch, but the goalkeeper, Vargas, gets out and clears just in enough time.
Yeah, the referee, Karen Hernandez, going right over and having a little word with Galvez, who has been lively, but he jumped with both legs. I think she just told him, son, if you make contact there, you just came on and you're going right off.
That would have been a really dangerous action against the goalkeeper. Here is Galvez. A clear up to midfield. 2 players come together. Referee plays advantage as the Texans have it. More changes coming in short order. Sikala, Sullivan. Read well defensively as he was trying to square that one to Juan Monreal.
But look at that. There's Sasso well positioned right behind him to clean it up.
He's been very good in that spot. But now a chance for Locomotive to run the other way. Goalkeeper off his line. And Esparza got a great ball from Valdivia and couldn't do enough with it. I've been really impressed with Axel Valdivia today. I think he links up well. It's Esparza that's struggled a little bit more in reciprocating.
Well, Valdivia did play a great ball there. Esparza, you could tell he didn't want to hit it with his left foot. I think if he just takes it with his left foot, he's got the goalkeeper well out of position. But he sort of had to adjust his feet and then try something with the outside of his foot that just didn't come off.
66-minute substitution as Mason Hatley will make his way off the field for the Texans. And John O'Grady is about to make his introduction here for the final. That's their 3rd change of the match, 3rd here in the half. We're going to get another change for the El Paso club as well shortly. Play is resumed in the corner. Now popped in the air towards the box. Sikala forced his man back. Hoban with a long ball. Brought down again by Valdivia. Seems to win a lot more of those than he doesn't. Villagomez on the left. Back on his right foot. Slides it through the middle. Esparza got a foot on it. Couldn't control it. And Sullivan will play it out wide as the Texans regroup. Garcia. Long diagonal switch of play. Found his man. Oh, but the second ball just wasn't there. Monreal with a good idea. But I like that ball from Garcia. That's a long way to travel, and he hit it with enough pace to get there.
So we have had a little shape change for the Texans. It's a 4-3-3 now. Sakala's gone out, played wide on the left. It's John O'Grady.
Boy, it almost looks like
and Duncan Sullivan playing in the middle now in front of Gabriel Sasso. So they're the front three. They're a midfield triangle now.
Almost looks like a 4-1-4-1 defensively on that last one as Sullivan plays it back. They had a line of four, then Sasso, then another line of four, and then a target striker in Galvez.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's 4-3-3, which sort of looks like, in attack it's going to look like a 4-1-4-1.
Plays goes out to the wide right, and it's a little too much for Monreal. And you can see some disgust from the Texans coaching staff as they knew that there was space there, but the execution didn't follow through.
Yeah, so Monreal, who spent first 60 minutes of this game as the top part of that midfield diamond, is now going out to the right.
Ball goes into Galvez. He heads it out wide, appeals for an offside. Flag stays down, and then Monreal goes sprawling to the right, but that's offside. So it's actually called. I thought Galvez was ahead of the back line there. That's tough sometimes when that much of the play continues, and then you get what looks like a foul, but they have to bring it back for the initial infraction, which was offside. Sasso gets it forward. 2-on-1 if they hurry. Sullivan, nice little give and go. Sakala down the left. Space opening up. He hits it early. A good idea. And it's just a little too far in front of the back post running Ramon Galvez. And we'll get a substitution here for El Paso.
Yeah, Julian Altman's going to come in.
And that'll be Valenzuela to come out for Alaman. Number 18 will be the latest introduction into this contest. '70th minute, so it's about 20 minutes to go. Who's going to make the breakthrough here? Or will there be one? As it stands now, we're 20 minutes away from a penalty shootout. And based on the trend so far in this match, it feels like they use that win probability way too often in some of these broadcasts, but I would say it's tilted a little bit in favor of the Texans right now. If you were to venture of who might score the first goal. Down the right side. Now there's a little loose ball. Texans capitalize on it and they move forward. Garcia, lots of room. Sakala out to the left. Cuts back on his right foot. Monreal playing centrally at the moment. Maybe just floating everywhere. Sullivan. Early ball in the box cleared away. Garcia helping that one out. That, by the way, is Alec Garcia for the Texans, not Ronaldo Garcia Alec Garcia for Locomotive, not Ronaldo Garcia for the Texans. Newly on the field, John O'Grady. And the flag goes up as that one went out of play. Good support on this Easter Sunday. Can't see it from the camera angles because the east end side of the stands on the east side of Toyota Stadium are not open to this. I imagine a little easier for folks in Dallas. They have the members of friends and family of the Texans to make the drive to Frisco than from El Paso. For a Dallas Cup final, could be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. For some of these Texans, it's their second time after winning the under-16 division a couple years ago. Sikala, defended by Valdivia. Boy, he's done it on both ends of the field for Locomotive. Monreal. Garcia. Sasso. That was a little far in front of him. He'll track it down, though. The difference between that pass being to his feet is he had to chase it and draw the pressure instead of maybe making a linking connection somewhere else. San Martin. Ossery. Down that right flank. O'Grady. That was too far for him. Sasso wanted a foul. It's going to be a throw-in for the Texans. Still a couple of substitutes loosening down on each end for both clubs.
Oh, and I feel like the Texans had a period of about 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes after the break where they really were trying to move forward a little bit more often, get their outside backs a little bit more forward, look for the early crosses, things like that. They actually got 4 shots in those first 10 minutes. Haven't really had another one since then.
How much do you think the substitutes of the last 10 minutes, both teams have used a couple of windows here, have just sort of shaken up the rhythm of the game for both teams?
No, well, I like a couple of the substitutions for the Texans. I thought Galvez came in and took up that high central striker position and has been lively and active and asking some questions, at least in terms of marking assignments with his movements and with that little shape change as well. But as far as actual threat and ability to do something once they get into the final third, Locomotive defenders have been pretty solid.
Escobedo on the left, Hoban on the right. You know, we haven't said Finley O'Brien's name, the center of the back three, that much. I just don't think the Texans have been able to get into those spaces.
Yeah.
It's been out wide or from distance, but not attacking the middle of that three. We'll see if that immediately changes because I brought it up. Sullivan down the left. Step over, second touch, and then just blasted into the stands. Hoban was no-nonsense defending there. Quick throw-in by Ronaldo Garcia. Monreal. Dribbled into trouble. Notice that Valdivia has been doing a lot of defending here in the last few minutes. I don't know if that's an intended tactical change because he was playing in a much more advanced position. Now he's really adding an extra defender back there, isn't he?
Well, I'll tell you who has been doing a lot of defending is Pepe Villagomez. I'll get back to that in a minute.
Sullivan with a turn out wide. Sikala, the cross, the header. It was Galvez on the end of it, but couldn't get it down on goal.
Well, he just couldn't rise up high enough, could he? It's a good zipping cross that came across for him. Yeah, I was going to say that, we thought in the first half that Pepe Villagomez was the one that had the ability to really create some threat, that left-sided wingback for Locomotive, but he's just had to defend too much in the second half, and he's looking tired to me. I see him put his hands on his knees and just doesn't look like he's got much to offer now in the attack.
Yeah, it looks like the substitute maybe as they jump in. Oh, boy, Galvez for just a minute thought he was going to get free. Long shot by Sasso. Blazes that one over the goal. But that's fatigue starting to show in the looseness of the defending and clearing from El Paso.
As we start to consider the possibility of penalty kicks, you and I couldn't even speculate on which goalkeeper might have the advantage there because neither goalkeepers just had a whole lot to do today.
Another giveaway. Sullivan tripped up. Referee's going to call a foul, and a card is going to come out. A yellow card against Chapo Vasquez is the second of the match, but the first for an El Paso player coming here in the 77th minute.
And that was Sullivan who drew that foul and the yellow card. Sullivan, who got yellow carded himself really early in this match, but to me, probably the best player on the field on either side.
He's been easily the most noticeable. But there has definitely been a shift. Maybe it's because of the substitutes, because Valdivia, who was up top with Esparza for most of the match, has dropped back into this right-sided play, maybe for Valenzuela. Alemán maybe moving up more, but we've seen number 9 for El Paso in the last few minutes defending on wide on the right-hand side, where he was really on top of the formation and doing well, I think, in the limited opportunities to get the ball. On a free kick here, we talk about these moments. This could be one of those. They want to play it short to Garcia. He is unmarked over on the wing. Now they're going to split the wall off. If nothing else, by attracting the attention of Alemán, it gives a little bit easier ball in for Monreal. Headed, up, down, and away. There's Valdivia. Well, he's worked hard, hasn't he? As he clears it up to midfield. And this is not 3-5-2 right now. This is a clear back 5, almost a back 6. 7 players behind for El Paso. And that may not be a stylistic choice. That might just be the realistic nature of the fatigue of knowing, hey, our best chance right now is to just hang in there.
Yeah, they've been playing 3-4-3 for the second half. And you're right, so that leaves you with basically 7 in defense, 3 on attack, if you can get the ball and move it forward, which they really haven't been able to do for, I don't know, 8-10 minutes now.
The field has definitely been tilted in favor of the Texans since essentially late in the first half, last 10 minutes or so, where it went from being pretty even to a little bit and now a lot more. I wonder if the Texans can sense this as well, because they just called another player in from the substitution ranks.
Yeah, both teams just full of exhausted players right now, as guys are, reaching for the ball and not moving their feet as much.
See the end of this one, and then the beginning of the Supergroup Final is going to be this massive sort of 180-degree turn in terms of intensity and energy, I would imagine. Although those teams have also played a lot of games, but they had one fewer game to get to the final and an extra rest day.
Yeah, well, that rest day means everything.
So a free kick, and look, here it is again. 0-0, 80th minute, and a chance to put the ball in the opposition penalty area with numbers forward. Can't keep saying it, but we will. This could be one of those moments. Holban goes forward, Valdivia, Escobedo. Some of the white shirts lining up at the 18. Almost everybody back for the Texans, save for one O'Grady guarding the kick. Ball goes in toward the back post. Garcia got it. Headed it clear. Will the Texans try to break out of this fast? Nope, they're just going to possess. Usuri with a good switch. Sullivan flicked it on. Garcia has some space. Some energy from Alec Garcia, his substitute, showing he still has some fresh legs.
You can see the idea there for Sullivan, and I don't think Garcia read it quite early enough, because I think if Garcia anticipates what Sullivan's about to do, just gets on his horse, he's in clean.
Down the left side. Villa Gomez.
And now as the substitutions, continue to come, you wonder, are the coaches thinking about getting the goal, protecting the goal, or are they starting to think about who are my best penalty kick takers?
A valid thought, but you also have to get there.
Yeah.
Here's a change will be for the Texans as Juan Monreal's match has run its course. And coming on for Dallas, number 23, Lucas Tazin. And he is the 4th sub.
Yeah, he's going to go take up the spot on the right where Monreal was playing for a while ago, and then Monreal started floating a little bit.
Down the left wing again. Cross comes over. Baldwin heads it down. San Martin clears. Sullivan didn't get enough on it to get it to Garcia, but who came up and blocked. And now the Sakala, no nonsense, just smashed that one over the heads of everyone.
No, I actually think he was trying to target his front runner up there.
Maybe looking for Galvez. Either way, it worked well. He allowed his whole team to get out of their defensive shell. Santiago Vargas has been the busier of the two goalkeepers today. But as you said earlier, Steve, we haven't seen them make that many saves. He had one great one in the first half. And that's really it. There's been some chances for the Texans, but they've been over the goal. And we haven't seen Morgan English do anything as far as shot stopping. Sasso. He's been impressive today. Doing that defensive midfield role very, very well. Competently. Baldwin to the outside for Garcia. Garcia takes a couple of touches. Wanted to go back into Sullivan. He had to go a different way. I think the Texans are going to, or excuse me, the El Paso squad is going to make another substitution sooner than later. They've only made 2 so far.
You know, Owen, what the Texans look like to me are a really tough, solid team all around, maybe without one elite string puller on the attack to really sort of open things up. I think Sullivan is as close as they have to it. I think both of the starting front runners today, Cantrell and Sakala, and the subs too, are good in their movement, execute all the skills well, but maybe they don't have one player who really understands how to create angles and
boy, especially with Sullivan running behind,
opening angles with your own body movement, with your own shape.
And with, you mentioned Sullivan, he has such ability to do things that if you had somebody to understand that as you laid it out, to be the player in front, they could be really dangerous.
Yes, Sullivan looks to me like a really good box-to-box guy who knows how to drive the attack through the midfield. But as I said, maybe just not enough dynamic in the front. But look, you know, just by being a really good, solid team full of a bunch of good players, you can win a lot of games that way. At the very least, you are very hard to beat, as we see today and as we've seen through the tournament.
I don't want to make this sound like a criticism, but they have done very little to beat themselves.
No, absolutely. I think that's, you know, you hear coaches talk about how teams don't really win games as much as the other teams lose games.
Sure, it's those breakdowns defensively that suddenly lead to a breakaway and an easy goal if you can keep your defensive structure. Valdivia down the side, blocked by Garcia. The substitute doing a nice job defensively. It will be a throw-in, not a corner kick, but they're going to make a substitution here. And it looks like Alec Garcia, who came on the field, is going to come off. And the referee is asking him to go to the nearest end line. So second half sub Garcia, who came on about the 60th minute. That's going to be it. Coming in will be...
But now you really do wonder, is this about getting your better penalty kick shooters on?
So Adrian Gallegos Magallanes is coming on. Heck of a chance here late to find a goal that would win it and not get to penalty kicks, but right now we certainly seem to be tracking towards that. With under 4 minutes to go, plus stoppage time. The Texans have another substitution coming on shortly. Could this also be in the idea of spot kicks? Valdivia gets around one defender. All of a sudden it falls free. The turn and the shot was blocked as Esparza was well defended by San Martin. That's one of the better moments for El Paso here in the second half.
Yeah, all of a sudden here, right in the last 2 minutes, El Paso Locomotive looked like they might have some belief that they can find this late goal and a game winner in all likelihood. San Martin with some really good emergency defending there.
The corner comes in. Just a little bit on the header, but enough from Sikala. Put it off of the angle. Long throw into the box, flicked and right into the hands of English. That was Esparza again. It's the most English has had to do in his goal all afternoon. Now a long ball over the top. Vargas gets there. Galvez was hoping for that to drop, but just had too much on it. So I was talking about earlier is that if one of these clubs can find some hidden reserve of energy just to lift themselves a little bit, it could be enough to put them over the end line, or over the finish line, rather.
And it looks like Locomotive might even have that.
Sullivan. Sasso, nice first touch into space. Garcia, back to Sullivan, turns. 2 men chasing him down. He'll play it out wide left. Sikala. Sullivan turns. Oh, he's smooth change of direction away from the pressure from Gallegos. Garcia again to the left. Sikala. Cuts back to his right foot. Sullivan now takes the long shot. Maybe a little hopeful from that distance. And falling on the ball here, down goes Villagomez. Referee says play on. The ball crossed in, was blocked. And now the flag goes up and a foul called on the Texans as Villagomez is still injured. We're going to see a substitution as Alex San Martin is out for the Texans.
Boy, his last action of the match, really important. He's getting that block right at the front post about 90 seconds ago.
Carter Simpson is coming on. You just wonder if this is the idea of a guy that can take a penalty kick, because San Martin has done very little wrong in this game in the back line, has he?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. I think the substitutions at this point are about getting your best penalty kick takers on the field. Remember, no extra time in this one, so we'll get the indication right now of how much added time there will be. 3 minutes, and from there they will go right into kicks from the spot.
3 minutes stoppage time.
For whatever reason, in the FIFA world, they prefer kicks from the spot as opposed to penalty kick tiebreaker or something like that.
Kicks from the spot.
That's it.
Not a penalty shootout, not spot kicks, but kicks from the spot.
I kind of think maybe it's the nomenclature there. I think it's shootout that they don't like.
I understand.
Yeah.
I don't like it either. I think they should do something completely different than penalties, but I understand why they do. I'll save everybody from my harebrained schemes at the moment for another time. Garcia. We're into second half stoppage time. Any goal at this point would definitely be enough to win the Dallas Cup final in the U19 division, as Sullivan takes an effort but slashes under it and it skews well wide to the right.
His second long-range attempt there that didn't come off, but you know, you sort of don't mind it. It's, look, you've had 91 plus minutes of not being able to do a lot else, so why not go ahead and shoot from long range and hope that you get that, hope that you can pull a Tyler Adams and just get the shot of your life.
And what a strike that was over at AT&T Stadium.
Just a week ago.
Which will be named Dallas Stadium for the 26 World Cup.
That's right.
Not AT&T in Arlington. About a 45-minute drive from Frisco.
So we're about a minute and a half into the 3 right now.
For those that aren't familiar with the geography around here, Arlington on the west side of Dallas, between Dallas and Fort Worth. Frisco being north. Valdivia, little move. Esparza he was found again, but couldn't get that first touch. We've seen that a bunch today, where Valdivia has made a good move and gotten the ball into Ruben Esparza, but he hasn't been efficient with that first touch to either get it under control or maybe take a shot with his first one. He's tried to make control. It's been heavy, and the chances evaporated almost immediately. Meanwhile, Steve was looking at me with concern about a DFW geography lesson in the middle of a potential winning goal. Have to be almost done now.
Not saying geography isn't important.
But the timing. Down the left side. Ronaldo Garcia.
You got to think this is the last chance.
Sikala. Blocked by Vasquez. Texans coaches trying to get somebody in, but Sikala's out of gas, and that's it. Nothing more to play for except for a penalty kick or kicks from the spot at the end of this one to decide it. And so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This one's going to penalties in the boys U19 final.
Said she wasn't hungry. She only wanted a bite. But this isn't just a patty melt. This is a Whataburger patty melt, the all-time favorite, with 2 all-beef patties, Monterey Jack, grilled onions, and creamy pepper sauce. So 1 bite became 2, and 2 became mine. Just a bite, huh? Mark that one down as a lesson learned. The Whataburger patty melt, just like you like it.
Can Billy come out to play?
Yes! Woohoo!
The all-new Tacoma. Toyota. Let's go places.
How can you describe Whataburger's honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich? The chicken just has a certain... And then there's the sauce that just gives you a little bit of... And the cheese? It's the exact right amount of... It's almost too hard to put it into... Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. The honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich at Whataburger. Just like you like it.
90 minutes of soccer plus stoppages has not yielded a winner here in the boys U19 final of the 2024 Dallas Cup between El Paso Locomotive FC, USL Academy, and the Dallas Texans U19 Boys Academy, ECNL. And so Karen Hernandez and company have just done the coin tosses for a penalty kick contest to decide. It will be the north goal. Unfortunate for all the fans sitting in the Hall of Fame balcony. They'll have to look to the far end of the field, but that's how it works. They toss the coin for which end of the field, and then who will elect to shoot first. And we'll find out momentarily who that will be. But Steve, in the end, felt like the Texans were slightly the better side throughout the game as far as who had the better chance of scoring a goal, but there were a couple of moments where El Paso almost stole one.
Yeah, I had Texans with the advantage in shots, 11-5. Interesting, though, Owen, was that over the last, 6 to 8 minutes, it was, for the first time in the whole match, it was Locomotive that you would say had a little bit more in the tank right at the end, and were really sort of going for it right at the very end, but they didn't get it. 0-0, here we are from the 12-yard spot.
I wonder if this, depending on how long this penalty shootout lasts, if it will affect the start time of the Supergroup, which is supposed to be at 4:30 in about a half an hour.
Yeah, those teams at the Dallas Cup, they're over warming up right now somewhere else, so it won't make any difference.
Depends on how long this penalty shootout lasts.
well, let's hope it doesn't go 25 minutes.
That's what I'm suggesting. Still have to do a trophy presentation and medals and ceremony and all that.
Right.
Well, it's been a very tight contest. The goalkeepers are going to be called in to do more here in the next couple of minutes than they have the entire match. Morgan English for the Texans, Santiago Vargas for Locomotive. He had the best save, and it was, the 12th minute. That diving save down into the south goal a long time ago now. And so as the two teams make their way to their respective sides of the midfield stripe,
looks like Chapo Vasquez will be up first for Locomotive.
It looks like El Paso is indeed going to go first, as he's standing outside of the penalty area where the two goalkeepers have heard their instructions from Karen Hernandez and company. And Morgan English will be the first. Talk about pressure in a big moment in a final in a big professional stadium with a trophy on the line. Vasquez to open. And he buries it into the right side of the net. Sent English the wrong way. Very confident penalty.
Pick a side, hit it hard, you've got a pretty good chance. Don't miss the frame. Looks like Lucas Sakala will be the first shooter for the local team.
It's always interesting to see the reaction of a player after he's scored, because now the tension and pressure is off of him personally. Sakala looks like he's lining up to take a left-footed shot here. Big run up against Santiago Vargas, the first shooter for the Texans. The hesitation. Ooh, and he just tucks it inside the right post. Well struck. Didn't leave a lot of margin for error, but he hit it beautifully, and we're all square.
Yeah, the little hesitation. If it comes off, it works, but if the goalkeeper just holds his ground, as Vargas did, you've got to have you've got to be able to place it really well, because you're not going to get a lot of power on it, and that's exactly what he did. Went side net.
Next shooter will be Ivan Escobedo for El Paso. Shorter run up, and he smashes it inside the right post. Again, English went to his right, sent the wrong way. And El Paso in front for the second straight round.
That one went side net with power. That's getting close to being, you won't say completely unstoppable, but darn near it.
That's a very good penalty take.
Yeah.
Here's Ramon Galvez for the Texans, trying to square this one at 2 here in the second round. Ooh, he takes an extremely short run up, couple steps, and put it off the underside of the crossbar and in. Oh, boy, the thinnest of margins, but it went in. That's a heck of a penalty.
That's Ricardo Pepe in the All-Star game a couple of years ago. Same thing, knock it off the underside of the crossbar. You're right, not much margin for error there, but that one is absolutely unsavable.
Inch perfect. So now it'll be Ruben Esparza in the third round. The pressure is on, as so far the first 4 kick takers have scored. Morgan English and Santiago Vargas, the goalkeepers. English right now. Esparza goes to the left, and he beats English with a well-struck penalty low into the corner. First time the goalkeeper has gone the correct way, but he was not saving that one.
We've seen some good penalty kicks so far.
Well taken. You see the replay. That one went inside the left post with pace. Lucas Talzin will be the third shooter for the Texans. He was brought on very late.
Yep.
82nd minute for Juan Monreal. Short run up, and he buries it to the right side, lifted it over the diving Vargas, who went the right way. We've seen some very well-taken penalties here through 3 rounds, tied at 3.
Nobody's missed. Not quite as far away from the goalkeeper as you like, but had a little height on it, so it made it a little bit more difficult to reach.
That's the hope, right? When you take that type of kick, is that the goalkeeper goes low.
Yeah.
Trying to get as far extension, and again, maybe a little higher would you'd be more comfortable. But here's Axel Valdivia, 4th shooter for El Paso. And he hits the post. He did a stutter step, sent English the wrong way, and he squarely hit the left post. And now the Texans have an opening. Valdivia did everything right, and he missed it by about 3 or 4 inches left.
You know, I think shooters have the right to do whatever they want, and it's really whatever they're comfortable with, but that's why I'm not a big fan of that stutter step, because I think you're just complicating things a little bit, and they're in the referee's ear about something. I don't know what that might possibly be.
I mean, could it be a goalkeeper leaving early?
But
it wasn't it was a situation where he made the save.
Right. They're usually not going to call that.
All right. Gabriel Sasso, the 4th shooter. Texans, that's 3-3. 4-3. They have the lead and on the brink of a Dallas Cup championship. And now El Paso must score with their 5th taker.
Another really well-taken penalty kick is that's driven with pace, some height, side net. I mean, that's a nice penalty kick from the holding midfielder who is really positionally disciplined today.
Adrian Gallegos Magallanes.
He's got to make it.
With a left foot. And he rolls it in, sending English the wrong way. Coolly done in the face of pressure. And so now it falls squarely on the man of the match for me, for the Texans, Duncan Sullivan.
And you're tempted to say as you go on in the penalty kicks that there's more pressure added, more pressure. But the truth is, even if you're the first penalty kick taker, there's pressure on these.
So for Sullivan, if he puts this away, the Texans will win the U19 Dallas Cup in 2024. If he misses or if Santiago Vargas makes a save, we will move on to a sudden death 6th round. Short run up for Sullivan. And he goes left underneath Vargas, and he scores. The shirt comes off, and the Dallas Texans are the champions of the boys U19 Dallas Cup in 2024. In a very dramatic penalty shootout. Dallas 5, and El Paso 4.
A heartbreak for the El Paso team, but fitting that Sullivan is the one that makes that game-winning penalty kick in the tiebreaker, because you're right, I agree, he was the best player on the field today.
You can see the emotion of joy in the celebration of the Texans and of despair and heartbreak of El Paso. These two teams laid it all out on the line. Trophy presentation is next here from Toyota Stadium. Only one.
How can you describe Whataburger's honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich? The chicken just has a certain... And then there's the sauce that just gives you a little bit of... And the cheese, it's the exact right amount of... It's almost too hard to put it into... Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. The honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich at Whataburger. Just like you like it. She said she wasn't hungry. She only wanted a bite. But this isn't just a patty melt. This is a Whataburger patty melt. The all-time favorite. With 2 all-beef patties, Monterey Jack, grilled onions, and creamy pepper sauce. So 1 bite became 2, and 2 became mine. Just a bite, huh? Mark that one down as a lesson learned. The Whataburger patty melt, just like you like it.
Tacos.
Can Billy come out to play?
Yes! Woohoo!
The all-new Tacoma. Toyota. Let's go places.
At CC's Pizza, dreams come true. But the best part of CC's is you. And you. And you.
Me?
Keep up, Doc. Dive right into my wondrous buffet. When it comes to pizza, you know that I slay. These desserts were made for stacking, like these games were made for whacking. Uh-oh, see ya! The reviews are in, the critics are raving, even the super specific pregnancy craving. So come feed the band and pull up a chair. CC's the best pizza value anywhere.
She said she wasn't hungry. She only wanted a bite. But this isn't just a patty melt. This is a Whataburger patty melt. The all-time favorite. With 2 all-beef patties, Monterey Jack, grilled onions, and creamy pepper sauce. So 1 bite became 2, and 2 became mine. Just a bite, huh? Mark that one down as a lesson learned. The Whataburger patty melt, just like you like it.
Tacos.
Can Billy come out to play?
Yes! Woohoo!
The all-new Tacoma. Toyota. Let's go places.
How can you describe Whataburger's honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich? The chicken just has a certain... And then there's the sauce that just gives you a little bit of... And the cheese, it's the exact right amount of... It's almost too hard to put it into... Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. The honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich at Whataburger. Just like you like it.
At CC's Pizza, dreams come true. But the best part of CC's is you. And you. And you.
Me?
Keep up, Doc. Dive right into my wondrous buffet. When it comes to pizza, you know that I slay. These desserts were made for stacking, like these games were made for whacking. Uh-oh, see ya! The reviews are in, the critics are raving, even the super specific pregnancy craving. So come feed the fan and pull up a chair. CC's the best pizza value anywhere.
Trophy presentation time here at Toyota Stadium as the local Dallas Texans U19 Boys Academy ECNL have defeated El Paso Locomotive FC USL Academy side in penalty kicks 5-4. Only one blemish off of a post in the fourth round from Axel Valdivia. One of, I thought, El Paso's better players on the day. Heartbreak for him and his team as they get their runners-up medals. And now the championship medals being awarded to the Texans. You know, Steve, in the moment, we've said this in previous finals, the team will probably feel disappointed, no doubt, because of losing, but to win as many games as they did to get to this point, to beat some very good teams to get to this final, a very big accomplishment.
Yeah, put up a good fight in the final, left it all out there. Hey, you talk about small margins, so look, Galvez steps up for the Texans, banks his penalty kick off the underside of the crossbar, right? Hits the post. Well, you know,
an inch or two.
Yeah, an inch or two, and it's Valdivia on the other side. His hits the post and bounces out. So that's an inch and a half right there. So that's the margin in this one.
Galvez puts his, as you said, that inch or two higher up. It hits the crossbar, goes down and out instead of over the line.
That's right.
I mean, you said talk about margin of error. There was no margin for error on that one.
No. Small margins, but that's these are two well-matched teams. I do believe that the Dallas Texans had more to play, more of the good chances, but not by a big margin.
Well, the El Paso team did not concede a goal in open play. Neither did the Texans. I mean, the Texans' defensive record throughout this tournament is pretty sparkling.
Well, if you can do it, if you can defend that well, you're going to be a good tournament team, and the Texans are living proof.
They conceded one goal in 6 matches, including the final. That is very, very impressive. And it wasn't just that they won 1-0 in these matches. They put up some goals. El Paso also scored, but in the final they ran into an absolute juggernaut as far as the defensive structure of the Texans. And here it is, trophy presentation time for the U19 Boys Division.
Here's the money shot.
And I don't know if the folks watching at home see this the way we do from our broadcast booth, but during the course of the game, the players start to look older and very mature with the way they play. Then you see this close-up shot, and you go, wow, they really do look like teenagers, which they are.
Yep.
But they look younger when you get closer. Then from up here, you start to just think about players and tactics. Heck of a match, as the Dallas Texans are the U19 boys champions here at the 2024 Dallas Cup. One more match to go. It will be this Gordon Jago Supergroup final coming up at 4:30. So long, everyone.